Welcome to another episode of Design+Style, a podcast for designers by designers, with co-host Dixie Willard of Dixie Willard Design and Rachel Moriarty of Rachel Moriarty Interiors. The Design+Style podcast is brought to you by the Design+Style Visibility Lab. The Visibility Lab is the only membership group that focuses on the latest strategies and tools to help you get more visible while showcasing your specific brilliance. We've got weekly online office hours with both of us, monthly topics, in-depth worksheets, and exclusive monthly trainings. Hello and welcome to another episode of Design+Style. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dixie with Dixie Willard Design, and normally my other co-host is Rachel Moriarty of Rachel Moriarty Interiors, but she is not here as a co-host today. Today, Rachel is here as a guest, and I love that. I love that. So, and I get to be the first one to interview her. I'm a little excited. Yes. Just a smidge. So, let me introduce our guest. Our guest is the beautiful, effervescent Rachel Moriarty of Rachel Moriarty Designs or Interiors. I don't know where I got designs from. I should know this by now, right?
Yeah.
But today she is here in the capacity of Rachel Moriarty, author.
Ooh.
Yes. She has written she has co-authored a fabulous book about marketing for home stagers and decorators.
Yep.
And I cannot wait to get my hands on a copy. She's making me be patient. It's
I know.
Killing me.
I know.
So everybody, a warm round of applause for Rachel.
Thank you very much.
So, Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Rachel. So awkward. It's so weird.
I think that we can probably skip some of the normal questions we would start off with about how you started. And hopefully people have been listening to the podcast long enough that they know a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, how did you get to become an author?
Well, it was a total visibility win, I will say. It was such an unplanned thing. I can tell you, nothing was further from my mind than writing a book. I mean, honestly, you and I are very close, and I've never mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm totally comfortable blogging. I've been blogging for several years, but authoring a book or co-authoring even, totally like off my radar. So I would just say, definitely visibility win. I was out, doing my thing and flying my freak flag and talking to, Rachel's Daily Riffs and building my design business. And you and I were doing Design+Style and kind of like hatching that on the, in the back. And I got a call one day from a woman, and she's a publisher, and she said, I've heard about you, in the last couple of days, 3 times in a row. And when that happens in such short succession, when I hit that 3rd time, I just know it's like her sign, her intuitive thing, to pick up the phone and call that person. And so she called me and let me know that she was co-authoring a book, and she let me know who the other co-authors were. And they are all out of the staging industry. But big people and, experts in the staging industry. And I was like very honored.
I gotta say, some of these names.
Yeah.
They're great. May I go through them?
Yeah, let's just run through it for sure.
So we have Marianne Cherico, who we were delighted to interview recently on the podcast.
Yes.
Angela Brooks Osborne. Shel Broadnax. And I apologize if I mispronounce anybody's names. Send me a message and I'll fix it, I promise. Linda Kafka, of course, the beautiful, effervescent Rachel Moriarty.
Yeah.
Joanne Leonard Weary. Audra Slinky. Let's see. Oh, this one's 2. Debbie Anderson Boggs and Julie Crane Young. They worked together on a chapter. Cindy Lynn. Bobby McGrath, who, Super excited to
Love
hear about
her,
her.
right?
Tori Toth, I know her too.
Celebrity home
That's,
stager.
you've
Yeah,
got some awesome names that, I mean, how cool that you are in a book.
I know. I just
Like,
thought it was the thing about this was it totally came out of left field. Um, but I felt like kind of a sense of like calm because of who was co-authoring with me.
mhm.
They picked my topic. So I
Oh,
was given because I didn't pitch, and they said, would you write this book and your portion will be on, video marketing. And so, yeah, since I'm, the visibility girl and via video and live streams.
mhm.
So yeah, that's how that came about.
I love that.
I know. That's what, we talk about a lot, visibility and stepping out in faith and
Mhm.
things happening in ways that I could have never created this path or plan.
It's
You just
funny.
have to be out there.
Things work out in very strange ways sometimes, but it's always so cool to watch.
I know.
So, tell me a little bit about your experience writing the book. Was that hard? I mean, most of it, all of it really, is stuff that you've talked about before. Topics that you've covered a gazillion times because you're
Yeah.
so good at it. Was it hard to sit down and write it all out, or?
It was hard to write the outline.
Mm.
I think once the outline was done, it was just fill in the gaps from there. Because there's like you kind of get like, well, what am I going to talk about? We've even heard people in our community say, I don't really have anything to
Yeah.
say. Like that, I think that is the first natural resistance that comes up. Like, you want me to co-author a book? I don't have anything to say. What, it's just your first line of defense, right? So there's a lot of work that has to be done
Mm-hmm.
internally, self work that has to be done. But then, just talking to the publisher and talking through things and why she wanted me to be a part of this project, kind of like, okay, then you kind of lean into that a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people, we hear the word confidence kicked around a lot. And I think that we're going to get into this more, but courage trumps confidence
Yeah.
any day.
Yeah.
And, I'm not always the most confident person, but I'm pretty effing courageous. you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So,
That's what it's all about, though, right? Is
yeah,
going ahead. You don't have to have the confidence. You just have to be willing to step up and step into whatever the role is.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
So it was a lot of, during that time, it was a lot of car drives. It was a lot of walks.
Mhm.
It's funny how you have to give things space, like you can't force it. Um, and, just like let it, you have to like plant the seed and then you just have to go about, luckily it's not like, oh my gosh, this has to be banged out in a week.
That would
I
be
think
awful.
and I think being a blogger for so long has helped me. And so it was just yeah, it was hard doing the outline, but once I did that, it was easy.
So now I'd like to kind of take the idea of having authored it and talk about ways that you've talked about how you got visible and it led to the book. How do you think your book is going to lead to greater visibility?
If you can't see my face on the podcast, it's like, on iTunes, it's like, "Wah!" Well, it was the, just like total transparency and honesty. Um, we started our podcast. We just started our podcast.
Yeah.
And it was, our tagline is for designers by designers, right? But and we were like, hey, we're in the trenches right next to you. And we are still running our design firms, and we are still running projects, but we do have this thing that we have expert level in, this visibility thing. We have this piece that we are expert level. And, after doing a year of live streams, I think I've done over 400 and something live streams now, easily, conservatively, I think I've become pretty expert in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, what was the question?
What visibility is this going to lead to?
Oh, so for
How are you gonna
me,
use it?
it was establishing expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you and I know through the path that we've walked that we've become expert in these things. And now it was time to share that a little bit more in a different way, in a way that, we have the podcast and we have our community, and it was just another way. It's another strategy.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Madam Author.
Yes.
When do I get my autographed copy?
That's a really great question.
Soon. I know.
I wish I had the answer to that. When I have it, you will have it.
Okay. I won't even ask you to deliver it in person, although you can. If you want to save on postage, you can just, bring it to High Point.
I could.
Mm-hmm.
I could. Absolutely.
Fabulous.
But so establishing an expert, I wanted to also get in front of other people's audiences. Co-authoring a book is a great way. Every one of my, esteemed co-authors have a platform as well. And so I'm going to be in front of new audiences. They'll be introduced to my community. And, I think you and I love collaboration, and it's definitely my love language. And so it was another, way to collaborate.
That's perfect.
Right?
It's so you.
It's so, I know, right? It's like all, and that was, I think the thing that made it easy was it wasn't like, Rachel, sit down and write a book.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been too overwhelming. And then once I did this one, because, we have the design firms, and then we have Design+Style. And then it was like, author this book on top of that, on top of all the other marketing and content producing that we do. I mean, it was, people are going,
I'm sure you just breathed and it just flowed out of you.
Yes,
you didn't have to think about it at all, right?
Yeah. So one of the things I will tell, because people are like, do you ever sleep? And I'm like, oh yeah, I sleep really well. Is, I talked this book into a Google Doc. So I would just pull up in the morning, first thing, because all of my ideas would come in the morning, and I'd pull up my Google Doc, I'd put in my earbuds with a microphone, and I would talk into, and it transcribes it. And then when I had time, I would just go in and clean it up. So that is a great way if you want to do blogs, if you want to take on, if you do want to do a book. Well, you and I want to do a book together.
Yes, we do.
So, it's a great way to get ideas out there, and it's not as overwhelming.
You know what's funny? Just thinking about different learning styles and you like to listen to podcasts or books or whatever. I like to read or watch or do things. So when I write, I have to, not even on a laptop, I hand write it because that's the way that I learn best. I love it. I'm always intrigued at different ways that people do things.
I know.
There's so many different ways that work.
I know, like not it, and it is really weird to talk a book.
Oh, I bet.
It's weird because you don't realize like how when you're watching it transcribe and your pauses and it pauses and you're just like, whoa, it's like watching that blank cursor on a white screen. So it was an adjustment, but once I found that, I was just sold. And then what I would do is I would then go on walks, because that would just get, one of the things, if people are blocked, go move your body. You got to get that blood going. The blood goes. And I would talk. I would take my headphones and talk into my notes on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
and then just copy that and move it onto the Google Doc. So, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I sat there and, holed up on this, writing cabin retreat
In
thing.
an island, on a deserted island with nobody
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in the margins of my very busy life. It can be done. So now, I want to just say that because there's so many people that just can't. We hear it all the time when we have strategy sessions with people, when we're coaching them in our group, when we're going through challenges. It's like all we hear is, I can't. It's not like, how can I? How can I do this? There are margins in our day. There are a lot of margins in our day,
Yes.
even if you're a very busy person.
Yes. And even if you love to sleep.
I love to sleep.
I do too. And what's funny is most people don't know this, but I need 8 hours of sleep. Like need. 9 is ideal.
Yeah.
If I want to, if I really have something going, I should probably get 9 hours. But even if you need 8 or 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Even if you have kids, even if you run 2 businesses, there's always room. You just have to make adjustments.
It's so crazy. You don't think there is, but when you make something a priority, you can't find the time to do it. You have to make the time to do it. But what you can do is find those little pockets. Like, do I really need to be sitting here in front of the TV right now? Do I really, you know what I mean? Like there are choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I maybe shut down Facebook for,
if I want to, sit and watch the new Project Runway series, if that's what I'm prioritizing, then no, I'm not going to have the time. But you can make the time. You make sacrifices. So that's what I learned through this, because one of the stories that I had told myself is, I don't have time to do that.
And now you have.
And now I have the proof that I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. And I never thought, once I got through that, it was really kind of grueling. But then you and I have always talked about writing a book together.
Yeah.
So once it was done, it was one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, let's do it again. Like you birthed the baby and you're like, oh, that was horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, okay, yeah, let's have another one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
That is so fabulous.
Yes.
Well, my dear, thank you so much for letting me be your first interview.
You're welcome. So please stay tuned. We are going to have the book available very soon on the Design+Style site. My chapter is talking about, we'll just go really quick, through video marketing. Marianne's going to be talking about how to magnetize your ideal client. Someone's going to talk about pricing and packaging, workshops and office presentations, sales funnels, guerrilla marketing, marketing plans, finding your marketing sweet spot. It's all.
Every chapter looks
confidence, visibility.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
It's perfect if you are a stager, a stylist, a decorator. I'm so proud to be part of this book. It's going to be so packed with value for everybody.
Even designers who are focused on construction.
Absolutely. Somebody I know.
And everybody. It's great for everybody.
Yeah.
And as soon as we are able to, we're going to have those links up there to make everything nice and easy for you. And we'll also have some information at some point about getting an autographed copy. Yeah.
So it is going to be coming out. The launch day it's going to be available help me.
digitally
on Amazon. And so that's going to be the big launch day. And then we're going to have a special, really, really special price on that day. And then if somebody wants the hard copy, they can just let me know that they bought the digital copy and I will take, we'll do a whole thing. So stay tuned.
I'm so excited. Well, thank you, Miss Rachel.
Thank you. Thanks for interviewing me about my book.
This podcast was made possible in part through the support of our preferred partners, like the Design Network. The Design Network offers one of the most powerful to-the-trade e-commerce programs in the furniture industry, combining the top brands in furniture, the best prices, and unparalleled logistics all in one place. Go to www.thedesignnetwork.com to join the Design Network's Trade Direct program, create your designer profile, connect with new clients, and start shopping today.